our group did Act 5, Scene 8, which is the final fight between Macduff and Macbeth. And it basically leads up to their encounter where Macbeth is trying to avoid the fight while Macduff reveals that he is actually one of the three apparitions where he was taken out of the womb surgically as a baby. So Macbeth fears this, and now they get into their duel and they exchange a few words before Macduff finally kills him by decapitating his head, getting revenge for Scotland and for his family.
My name is Ken, and I'm playing Malcolm.
My name's Owen, and I'm playing Macbeth.
My name's Nathan, and I'm playing Macduff.
My name's Nolan, I'm playing Ross.
My name is Nick and I'm playing Sue.
In my research, I analyzed the origin of revenge and the reason as to why humans have it as a part of their nature. My article is significant to Act 5, Scene 8 of Macbeth because it goes deeper into the relationship between Macbeth and Macduff in their final fights, and the reason as to why they acted that way. It's mentioned in the story that upon learning of his family being slaughtered, Macduff turns that grief into fuel and rage to pursue revenge on Macbeth. This makes their entire fight completely different from both perspectives. Macbeth is focused on not even participating in a duel at all, while on the other hand, Macduff is fully set on a battle to the death with the intent of killing and serving justice for his family and Scotland. Revenge is an instinct, not an emotion. It is driven by many factors. So because of this, our performance will have Macduff very serious and formal, with no tone of pity or tenderness towards Macbeth. He will essentially be going all out due to being on the path of revenge. Macbeth's behavior, on the other hand, is more cowardly due to his wanting to avoid the battle and avoid conflict, as he is conscious of the terrible deeds he's committed. The overall goal is to make the audience know who's in the wrong here and make it obvious.
Our scene in Macbeth is Act 5, Scene 8, and my article was based on how violence begets violence. And basically what I was saying is, in Macbeth, Act 5, Scene 8, Macbeth and Macduff fight off a duel to the death. It seemed to me that the violence they committed earlier in the play, it had a lot to do with the final fight. So my theme was violence begets violence, or in other words, the more violence you experience in your past will predict how violent you may be in the future. Macbeth's initial acts of violence are super far-reaching because they create fear and chaos among him and his people and basically the entire world, because we can see throughout the play that the general balance of the universe is disrupted after King Duncan dies. So after the murder of Macduff's family, King Duncan, and even Macbeth's best friend Banquo and almost his son, those are repeated acts of violence that set the cycle of violence in motion. Macduff's final act of killing Macbeth is a response to all of the violence that he has committed, and it supports the cycle of violence because it shows how violence creates more violence, even in those who aren't inherently violent.
Unlike the other to research how a mental or psychological aspect can affect one's ability to battle, I decided to base my research on a physical aspect and how it affects the ability to fight. Although both sides have their reason to fight mainly because of an emotion or feeling, such as being selfish or wanting revenge, it also affects them. The reason or drive to fight is the same thing that affects their ability to fight. Like what Nathan said, Macduff will be portrayed as very serious without displaying any pity towards Macbeth, as his reason is to seek revenge for his family. Macbeth will also be portrayed as more cowardly, as he wants to avoid the battle, yet he is selfish and his drive is not to lose to Macduff. However, not only do they have a mental strain during the conflict, but also a physical one as well. Both sides are wearing full sets of armor and are also carrying heavy steel swords on top of that. Relating to the secret research, Morel provides research evidence that a full set of armor weighs between 30 and 50 kilograms, so it is a huge fraction of the wearer's body weight. Furthermore, she also includes that wearing armor is expensive in terms of the amount of energy being used to move in the armor, since it uses up twice as much energy and requires a lot more muscular effort. What she says and provides is true, since throughout the scene, both characters are heard grunting a lot, exerting a ton of energy while trying to maneuver and attack on one another because of bearing such heavy equipment. Therefore, in our performance, both Macduff and Macbeth will be portrayed as being strained physically and mentally. They will also be shown as tired from fighting, let alone moving during the conflict.
I researched an article that goes into how emotions affect sports performance. It relates to Act 5, Scene 8 of Macbeth by showing how emotions can influence a player's performance or success in a high-stress situation like sports matches or fights. The article states that controlling your emotions can positively impact an athlete's performance. However, Macbeth does the opposite and lets his emotions get the best of him. His overconfidence is caused by the belief that he is invincible, which leads to his downfall. This affects how he could portray his character in the final battle. For example, when he's overconfident, we could have him stable and unwavering stance. However, when Macduff reveals that he wasn't born a woman, Macbeth experiences despair, fear, pressure, and anxiety. We can show this by acting out shaky voice, trembling body, and acting awkwardly. Macduff is also affected by his emotions. The emotion he feels are grief and rage. We could portray this in the scene by changing Macduff's tone to be harsher and making the battle rougher. In conclusion, both Macbeth and Macduff's emotion influence their actions in the final fight, demonstrating how emotions shape behaviors in high-stress situations.
I researched that as individuals, we overestimate our own skills and chances of success, overconfidence. This leads to overly positive self-evaluations of our intellect and talent. As these self-evaluations are often unrealistic, this results in the overconfidence effect. Dr. Will claims that as individuals, we overestimate our abilities to do certain tasks, and this causes us to believe that we are the best at certain tasks. After defeating young Seward, Macbeth is driven into this overconfidence effect. He believes he cannot be defeated. So while fighting Macduff, he enters the fight with a lot of confidence, but after figuring out that he was not woman-born, he was struck down. In our reenactment of the scene, we will show that Macbeth is overly confident, and we'll try and show that more.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die? On my own sword, while I see lives, the gashes do better upon them. Turn, hellhound, turn! Ah! Ah! Oh. Of all men, else I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain, than terms give thee out.
Thou loosest labor. As easy mayst thou, the enchanter err. With my keen sword impress as make me bleed. Let folly thy play an unvulnerable crest. I would charms life, which must not yield to of one a woman born.
Despair thy charm, and let the angel thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb, all untimely ripped.
Accursed be that tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of a man. And these bejuggling fiends no more believe, that palter with us in double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze all the time. We'll have thee, as our rare monsters are, painted upon a pole and underwrit. Here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. The Burnham Lord become the Dunson, and thou pose, being of no woman born, yet I'll try the last, before my body, and I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damn be him that cries, "Hold enough!"
Would the friends we miss were safe arrived? I would the friends we miss were safe arrived.
There we go.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Go. Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier to death. He only lived but till he was a man.
the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead.
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Had I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish there to be a fairer death, and so his knell is knolled.
He's worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
1.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold, where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's pearl, that speak my salutation to their minds, whose voices I desire ahead with mine. Hail, King of Scotland.
1.
All hail, King of Scotland.
We shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you, my Danes and Kingsmen. Henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland, in such an honor named. What's more to do, which would be planned newly with the time, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butchers and the fiend-like queen, who as 'tis thought by self and violent hands took of her own life. This, and what needful else, that calls upon us by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, to each one whom we invite to see us crowned as scone.
Yeah!